Hope you're excited as we are here outside on a rainy day. I think we have not had a panel like this before. Have you?
Not really, no.
Have you?
No, this is my first ever panel in my life.
Great, so first times are always very exciting. Look, so I was asked to moderate the panel. Oh my God, I didn't know Lithuanians did that. And they asked me which startups could be interesting and could surprise some people here in Lithuania and maybe abroad as well. So what topped into my mind is our two portfolio startups. One is Astrolight, Space Tech. The other one is UDS, Dual Use, War Drones. And Vytenis also previously founded and exited a startup called Nanoavionics, so Space Tech. We have been running them on our investors, and we know that they surprise people when they start speaking. So probably I will ask a quick question. Who here knows what Astrolight does? Can you raise your hand? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay.
More than I expected.
More than expected. Who here knows what Nanoavionics does? A bit more, been around the block for 10 years, okay. Who here knows what UDS, Unmanned Defense System, does? 3, 4 hands. Okay, so it's the newest startup of the three. So, Daro, maybe let's start with you. What does Astrolight actually do? In short.
Yeah, so we do communication from space to Earth. So we are trying to basically bring fiber-like connectivity to space. Which means going from radio, electrical signals, to optical signals. So we are shining lasers from satellites that carry orders of magnitude more data from space to ground when compared to radio.
So, laser communication in space, in 3 words.
Faster.
Faster. Okay, that sounds complex. How did you come up with this idea? Why are you doing this? And also from Lithuania?
Yeah, so one of our co-founders, Laurynas, is also a co-founder of Nanoavionics together with Vytenis. And he had an idea while working with space that very little data is actually used in space. All of the data is actually used on the ground, while we generate a lot of data in space. So the radio communications that we currently have are becoming a bottleneck, much like the telephone connections were a bottleneck for internet like 20 years ago or so. So we are trying to implement fiber-like connectivity, which will bring gigabit per second communication and will bring more knowledge from space to ground.
But Dalo, people here, when they think of a business, let's start a business, they think of opening an e-commerce shop. They're thinking of opening a restaurant. They're thinking of some services-based business like a legal firm or so, and you're shooting these lasers into space, into satellites, taking data down. How did it occur to you to make a business out of that?
So
can you make money out of it?
Exactly. So the thing is that we think we can. So the vision of Astrolight is to actually bring connectivity as a service. So we want to have a global ground station network over strategic locations, like in the Arctic, for example, in some very hot regions where there is a good weather for optical communication, and sell that basically as a service, so money per bit, basically.
Who is a customer or a potential customer?
There are different customers. So this is fundamentally a dual-use technology. So we have both institutional, governmental, as well as private. So anybody who generates data in space, anybody who has satellites tracking ship movements, troop movements, or any kind of intelligence that you can gather. For example, hedge funds are interested in this thing as well. So there are lots of different classes of customer.
Okay, cool. Vytenis.
Hi.
10 years ago, also, you started Nanoavionics in Lithuania, and you said you will bring satellites in space. How did you come up with this? Why? What did you study, and what did your parents say?
Well, yes, the story have started around 2009 with a colleague, Laurynas. We came back from Stuttgart University. We had their Erasmus program. And some conversations, some discussions were circulating around that Latvia, our neighbor, is already having their first satellite. Estonia is far ahead. And in Lithuania, we have nothing yet so far. Well, since we were by then students of aerospace engineering at Vilnius Gediminas Technical University, we thought, why not to design a single bolt and launch it to space? It would be really, really cool, right? So we started to dig deeper into the nano satellite domain, and year by year, we suddenly seen that we are not doing anything else, but we are very, very deep into the satellite technology. And we had an occasion back in 2012 to have a internship program at NASA Ames Center. So Laurynas and myself, we spent their very wonderful summer in the center of California, right, in the middle of Silicon Valley. And that summer has really charged our batteries. And we thought now everything is possible. I mean, even to launch a first satellite for Lithuania. And we started a Lituanica Sat1 project.
Sure.
By then, and we have made a successful mission back in 2014. And after the mission, we thought, what's next? Either we are going towards academia, studying PhD, master's degree, etc., or we take a lot more risk, but we have a potential to gain something, right, from the economic perspective. We simply sat on the couch and we simply discussed. The discussion took, I think, like 10 minutes, and we decided to go where we will have much more risk, but we will have much more opportunities as well.
How many employees did Nanoavionics had at its peak before you left?
300, I would say. 301 maybe.
Can you mention some of the revenue numbers?
Yes, the revenue numbers are public. I would say it's in the range of 25 million.
And you had a nice exit?
Yes.
Which is also public?
It is.
Can you say the number?
Yeah, the valuation was, upon our exit, 67 million.
You can clap for that now. It is possible to build a space tech startup in Lithuania and sell it profitably. So Vytenis now is not only a startup founder, but he's also an investor. Yes, yesterday we had the investor camp, so you should attend next time. Cool, so after you're done with Nanoavionics, you decide to build UDS,
Yes.
which is not space tech, but it's a dual use. So it's kind of similar, but very different. You build avionics systems for satellites. Now you're building avionics systems for drones, connoisseur drones and loitering munition drones. Can you tell us a bit more about this transition and why you're doing this now?
Yes, that's correct. Since we had an exit, a successful exit from the previous company, and a nano satellite and a UAV or a drone, from the block diagram perspective, they look rather similar, right? The specifics of the technology are different, but from the block diagram, subsystems are rather similar. And we thought, in general, that was my very, very old dream. I wanted to do something related with aviation or space. So it appeared so in my life that first of all I started to do something with space, and later on I joined the the area of the aviation. I mean UAVs, right? So yeah, the company is now turning 3 years old. It's again quite R&D intensive venture. We do a lot of things to master the technology. I would say it's not the dual purpose, it's rather defense tech. At least as for now, we work a lot with Ukraine. I mean, we are helping Ukraine. We are doing a lot of testing in Ukraine. and of course with the Lithuanian Armed Forces. It's an exciting thing. It's a really challenging thing. I mean, in space we have, okay, radiation, space weather, etc. In here, I mean, in defense you have jammers and spoofers and, you know, a lot of so-called fog of war. And it's really, really interesting to penetrate that fog with a technology. So I'm doing this because it's first of all, it's exciting. And second of all, it's a very good business opportunity.
Okay. Can you compare the technological challenges between the two? Not the business challenge, but the technological challenge. Is it similar? And what was more challenging for you?
The cycles, let's say the product cycle, the sales cycle, the R&D cycle in space is a bit longer. It's years, let's say. It's 1.5, it's 1 year, it's 2 years. I mean, until you are getting ready to sell something for your customer. In the environment, I mean, in the context of the defense, and today the cycles, I mean, in the UAV market are very fast. I mean, every 3 months something is changing. Of course, I mean, it's very interesting. You cannot think what is necessary today. You have a really, really hard task to think what will be necessary tomorrow, after half a year, after 1 year. In space, I mean, space technology is a bit slower, but of course, I mean, it's not like I couldn't say that it's ultimate rule, right? That these cycles are very quick. It depends on the technology you're working in. So we are somewhere on the faster side. Challenges are the barriers to enter the market are high, you know, but they have different names. But the height of those barriers, I would say, somehow similar.
Mm-hmm. Dalo, how many people work in Astrolight now?
So it's 15 now, with some contractors extra on top.
And most of them are physicists, laser physicists, engineers?
A lot of them do have PhDs, all of them are engineers, so it's quite an exciting place.
First, I would like to congratulate you for winning the NATO Diana Award. This is one of the 10 startups in NATO that got the acceleration funding. So this is international recognition that we have here. A startup in Lithuania with a bunch of laser physicists, engineers, PhDs building from Lithuania. So my question to you, is it a plus or is it a minus to build from here? And maybe compare it to 10 years ago?
I didn't hear plus or minus.
To build from Lithuania.
From here. Yeah, of course it's a plus, because Lithuania is really strong in what we are doing. So we have trailblazers like Nanoavionics, where they are doing space and have built quite a good background in Lithuania for that. And we have even earlier trailblazers with the companies like Light Conversion, like Expla, who build the laser infrastructure. And we have one of the best and most concentrated, definitely, laser infrastructures in Europe. So we only have to go over the other side of the street to get our parts manufactured. It's really a quick turnaround here.
Okay, so it's great to build here. What about the talent level?
The talent is good. It's going to dry up, I think, at some point, because the education system will not keep up the way that the startups and all the companies are growing.
With your success, you can create more of these people. Not building e-commerce shops, but building deep tech, space tech, dual use.
So we are a spin-off from educational institutions, and we also participate in actually training students to work with us. So we are kind of participating in building that ecosystem. But talent is not a problem now. I think it's going to be a problem.
When you'll reach what, 200 people?
Not necessarily for us. I'm speaking for Lithuania in general. So for Astrolight, we're not that big, and we will probably not be bigger than some other companies. But all of those companies combined, including Nanoavionics, including 600 people companies like Light Conversion, they are going to suck up talent. So I think it's good for Lithuania that those companies are here, because we can build a competent talent base on that money that those companies bring. But we have to work for that.
Vyteni, I would like also your opinion on the same thing. You've been here in the industry for 15 years. You've seen it developed. Has it developed? Is it better now? Is it a challenge to build what you're building now from Lithuania, or is it a plus?
The question is, I would say, philosophical. It has really multiple answers. It's possible, right? We have made some really great things. It's not only Astrolite or nanoavionics or some other stuff. So it means it's possible. So first of all, it's in our head. I mean, if we can dream it, right, we can make it. This is the first thing. Second thing is you look how you can solve that problem. As I remember, at some point at nanoavionics, we have, so to say, re-imported Lithuanian boys and girls who were studying abroad and who came back here to work in Lithuania. And I think percentage of such staff was around 35-40 at some point. I don't remember how big was the company at that moment, but I think it was like 20 or 30 people who came back from Germany, UK, for instance, Netherlands, Denmark, to work here in Lithuania, because we have created an opportunity to have an interesting, well, occupation, right? To do some creative stuff, creative job. So the answer is yes, it's possible. It's not an easy thing in general, as of today, to do tech business. I mean, HR stuff, and hiring is a constant process. So you cannot be relaxed there. I mean, if you want to find a right staff, you have to work. You have to invest.
You have to grow them up. Cool. What do you see for the future for space tech, dual use in Lithuania? Will you see there being more startups being built? Are we on the trajectory, or maybe there's like something that's going to block and hinder this progress?
Well, definitely the trajectory is upright, and number of competent people is increasing, and secondary companies and startups and secondary and ventures are being created. So the trend is definitely upright. The quality of life in Lithuania is getting better for sure. The salaries and everything. So I think we're becoming more and more attractive. I mean, I remember those days 10 years ago, 15 years ago. It was totally different story. Totally.
Okay, I think our time is up. I hope you found out a bit more about what we have here in Lithuania, what kind of gems we have. And I know there's some VC fund partners from Finland and other countries that only invest in B2B SaaS. This is hardware, and it's a case that it can also work. It can grow. You can exit it. So.
Indeed.
You want to add something?
No, thank you.
He says I'm right. So, okay, a round of applause.
One more time.
Thank you, guys.
Oh.